Do the
Cool.
intro. Hey everybody, Paul Acevedo from Windows Central here. Tonight I am joined by weaklings Brian and Tyler,
That's me.
and we're going to play some WWE 2K16 for Xbox One, also available on PlayStation 4 and past gen platforms, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So this game, by the way, we have had to turn off the music in order to avoid the audio being muted on YouTube and or Twitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, it
copyrighted
has really
music.
good music, and what I wish they would do is offer an alternative soundtrack that you can switch to, like a stream safe soundtrack. They don't have that option, and the menus and stuff, they feel so silent with no music, obviously. But first, we will do a quick match of WWE 2K16 Showcase, or just 2K Showcase. This is the story mode of the game. There's a lot of different modes, a lot of stuff you can get out of this game, but the new story mode revolves around Stone Cold Steve Austin, who comes from Texas, as I understand it.
Who
Do you
wouldn't?
smell what the Stone Cold is cooking?
I smell no such thing. Let's see, there's the image gallery. You have all these matches. It takes you throughout his career. I believe it skips a little bit of a rivalry with a wrestler who died, but otherwise, most of the important stuff in his career is represented. So I need to go play WrestleMania 19 versus The Rock. That's what we're going to do.
Oh.
I remember WrestleMania 20 versus The Rock. Not WrestleMania but 19 though.
So all these different matches. Then you have bonus matches that are separate. You just unlock them as you progress through it, and then you can go back and play them later. And strangely, the bonus matches are out of order. I guess they have to be that way, but for instance, you might, in the middle of the story, unlock a bonus match from the beginning of his career. I just found that a little confusing, but eventually I got used to the idea. He started out his career with hair, and his model with hair looks ridiculous.
It looks like some weird beach bum
It's
from the
WrestleMania
80s.
19.
I don't remember if I saw the in-game model for his old version. I actually didn't even know that he used to have long blonde hair. Oh, Booker T just hit him with the belt.
Yeah, you get a lot of great story stuff, a lot of real live
Yeah.
action footage. WWE is very good at editing these videos together. I watched the whole long supermarket fight that it's showing a little bit of highlights of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that fight was difficult to watch. It was pretty brutal. It's easier when they're in the ring to see them hit each other, but to see them hit each other in a real life environment, it was a little bit disturbing to me.
It's
Jeez.
interesting. Always my favorite parts of wrestling were the stuff behind the scenes, backstage, stuff like that. I thought they always did a really good job. Most of the time, they did a really good job. Once in a while, they'd have issues, but
Yeah,
mostly
it
they
is cool to
done
see them do other things and be in other environments.
right. Gives it a little bit of keep it fresh, give it a little unique flavor.
Yeah, and a big part of the game is just the different storylines they develop over the course of each year. So you can see that play out, just the different character interactions and stuff outside of the ring when they don't have to be fighting the whole time. So
Sergeant Trente asked something about a special Tomb Raider stream. Do you know anything about that?
Uh, Sergeant Torrente, unfortunately, I didn't get a copy of Tomb Raider, so I can't stream it. We we have streamed a little bit the game, but it wasn't me streaming. It was just Jonathan. But everyone is saying Rise of the Tomb Raider is super great, so I hear.
Yep, I've heard good things.
Target has a big sale this week. You want?
Buy two get one free.
Yep. You want two brand new games? Buy a third
That
one
is a
free.
good sale. That's the one
That's
downside to going all
pretty
digital
good.
this generation. Although I have a physical copy of this because I got a physical review copy. But yeah,
Hmm.
I am completely digital otherwise, so unfortunately retail games going on sale just doesn't do me any good.
So yeah, the drawback is that the sales are a little bit fewer and few and
Yeah,
far
not even
between.
a
Yeah.
little bit fewer. We're
Yeah.
talking, well,
Yeah, you're right. Significantly, it is. It is still a significant difference.
if points would go on sale,
My
then that would be nice.
Yeah, and that doesn't
last
have to
time they
touch
did,
games too.
I picked up quite a few.
points. I haven't heard
Yeah,
that in a
it's
while.
Well,
I hate to say like Microsoft credit. It's just easier to say points.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
I
points were
suppose.
cool, except for the non one-to-one transition, which was, it actually worked out in the benefit of those who were super cheap. It seemed like they went on sale a lot more
Yeah,
as
it does
points.
seem that way.
Um, but besides that, it could
All
get
right, now
confusing.
I am playing.
Yeah, I thought it was actually pretty
Damage
clever.
the Rock. So now I get to pound on him. I should point out the first time I played, I found the controls a little bit confusing. I don't know if it's the same kind of thing like your first time playing FIFA or NBA 2K, like if there's a big learning curve there, or if those games take special efforts to ease new players into them or not. I don't think this game does enough of that, although there is a separate mode which hopefully we can show a match of later that does teach you some, but you wouldn't know to play it first. That's the thing. The mode I'm talking about is the create a wrestler mode, where you go through that created wrestler's career. Like, I wouldn't think to play that before the real story mode. Why would anybody? So Irish whip him in the ring.
FIFA doesn't really teach you how to play the game anymore. There's like advanced tutorials and stuff, but you'd have to know how to find them and
Well,
stuff
that can
like
be a
that.
hard thing with an ongoing series like this, because they can safely assume that most of the people who buy it are the same people who bought it last year. But for me, this is my first
Right.
time really playing the series, so there was definitely a big adjustment period. Now I have to Irish whip him in the ring.
Yeah, and I think something like this would take longer to adjust to than FIFA or something like
But
that even.
initially, I would have just thought, hey, it's a wrestling game. It shouldn't be that much different from a fighting game. But it is a lot more simulation oriented than I would think. There's a lot of
See you,
complexities to it.
Mongbox.
Good seeing you, Monkbox. Not.
Living Dead Girls being mean to
Oh,
Swizzlers. Can you see the shock?
I mean, he hasn't talked for a while.
that's probably
I mean,
why.
she's just
Oh,
being
come on, The
mean.
Rock. So, but also, I don't want to make it sound like this game is too hard to play or anything. I spent, I would say probably after about 3 hours, I really understood what I was doing. 2 or 3 hours. And that's fine, because it's such a big game. And actually, there are definitely things I don't like about it. There's a lot of fans who are very critical of this series with good reason, because it is a yearly release, and there's a lot of ongoing issues that they basically refuse to fix. Sometimes it might be because they simply don't have the time due to the yearly release schedule. Other times it feels like maybe they're just not listening on some particular issues. I'm new to the series, so I'm just gonna tell you things that I like and dislike about it, especially in my review, which hopefully will run tomorrow or the day after that. One of the things that I'm not crazy about is the reversal system. Hopefully we can show that. Like,
I don't think you're the only one who feels
yeah,
like that.
it could just be a lot more intuitive. Basically, when the opponent is attacking you, with almost every attack, you have an opportunity to perform a reversal, in which case your wrestler will avoid damage and most likely also attack the guy who was trying to hit him. I'll show you. A little right trigger prompt pops up over your head, and if you push it at the right time, then you'll avoid the attack, which I just did. And I've gotten better at it over time, but I feel like I wish the timing window for those things was a lot more clear than it is, because it's like you just have to get used to it. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be really intuitive. Like, I kind of wish it showed, if you have to have the on-screen prompt, which isn't such a bad thing, I kind of wish it went through different colors, and right when it was green, that was the time to hit it, that kind of thing. Like, that would be pretty easy to understand and get used to, I think. Oops. And we've just done something, the grapple system, I think that was grappling, I forget what the word for it is, but we just done something where you have to rotate the sticks. One guy is trying to, submissions I think is what they're called. One guy is trying to get you in the submission,
Yeah.
one guy is trying to get out of it. This is a new mechanic they've introduced for this game, and it's a bad mechanic. Like, there might be a few people who like it, but honestly it's one of the least intuitive mini-game type mechanics I've seen in a game lately. You're trying to make your little spinning circle avoid the other guys, and God, it is so hard for me to actually catch somebody in that. Like, it does not click with me. And there's a lot of other players who it does not click with. Good news is it doesn't ruin the game because it's not such an important part of the game. Like, you can easily win without ever doing that kind of stuff. Damage the rock. He's almost damaged enough. Here we are again in that submission system. I'm trying to get my little blue part of the circle, no, the red part over the blue one, but couldn't do it. I don't know if I've even once succeeded in that. Maybe once out of all the times I've tried it. Woo!
Doesn't look intuitive. I certainly have no idea what the heck's going on with the on-screen prompt.
It's nuts. There's also a chain wrestling system. Chain wrestling, it's when one guy grabs the other guy, and they kind of lock in place, and they're trying to overpower each other. And that's something that I'm sure happens in real wrestling quite a bit. Problem is, nobody has any idea how to initiate chains. Like, the game does not tell you how to initiate it. The manual, which is a PDF that you actually have to go on your computer or phone and download, does not tell you. So every now and then you'll get locked into a chain wrestling sequence, but it's so infrequent because you can't initiate it on purpose, or at least I have no idea how to. So, like, I just can't master the mechanics that come up after that. You kind of just have to wail on buttons. It's not supposed to be like that, and maybe more advanced players actually do know how to do it on purpose. I don't. And I wouldn't be surprised if nobody does.
Oh yeah, they just did each other's finishers, I think. That's funny.
Yes, there is so... I mean, this story mode, if you like wrestling at all, is so entertaining. Like, the things that happen throughout, over the course of it, it's just the best parts of his career. You know, obviously it doesn't have everything, but everything that's in there is truly highlight-worthy. Interesting things that happen in just about every match. Perform a stunner on him and then pin him. Great, okay. Stunner is a finishing move. I have earned a finishing move. You do that by getting enough crowd approval. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now I got him in the...
I mean, it's very well choreographed. It's, you know, it's nice that it tells you what you need to do.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works, the story mode. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's
and it's so different from the other modes, because in the story mode, you're trying to...
The other modes, you just want to win, right?
In this one, you're trying to get it into situations that really happened in that real-life match, and I like that goal. If you're not sure how to do what it's talking about, you can pause it and look at the checklist, scroll down, and it'll tell you the controls. Every now and then there's something that it doesn't explain well enough. Like, for instance, there's one part where you have to climb a ladder to get a briefcase that's hanging above the stage. The checklist does not tell you how to climb the ladder. The game does not tell you, so I had to do a web search to figure out how to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that seems silly.
Just an oversight on their part. But also, I don't think you should have to pause to look at the checklist. I think it should just be clearly, like, the control should be somewhere on the screen would be nice, but that's just me. You know, I'm all about intuitiveness. Oh, crap. So I gotta get him away from me, pay a little more attention to what I'm doing. Perform a stunner. Ah, God, why did he not perform it? Sometimes the finishing move prompt just doesn't come up. The alignment isn't perfect for it or something. So I'm going to get pounded on for a bit. And I've just got to try to pull off a reversal when I can. Ooh, I did a rope break, whatever that means. Okay.
Isn't rope break when you're in a submission and you're near the ropes?
I guess so. I was near the ropes.
Oh, look, yeah, he's gonna leg lock you. Yeah, rope break. Yeah, if you grab the rope when you're in a submission, the ref breaks the submission hold.
I might not end up winning this because I'm talking, and you do have to be concentrating on what you're supposed to be doing, especially for the reversal. Yeah. So please, but I have gone through the entire game. There is selectable difficulty, so you can set it to easy, and that makes it a little more reasonable. Woo! He tried to perform either a finishing move or on me, and it didn't work out for him.
Good. Yes. Take that, Rock.
I always call him The Rock. If I see him in real life, I'd be like, hey, it's The Rock. And I'd be like, how you doing, The Rock?
Or you could just call him Dwayne.
His real name is Dwayne. That's pretty nerdy.
Yeah. I wouldn't tell him that, though.
Give him a little time.
He's actually huge. I think he's been on more steroids now that he's not in the WWE as much.
Now that he's just a movie star.
Yeah.
Dude, he didn't do the stunner. Was that not... Press Y.
Yeah, you did the stunner.
Oh, then pin him.
You just
Then
have to
pin
pin
him.
him
That's
now.
what I'm doing wrong. God, that's what I get for not paying attention.
Yeah, I just saw stunner. Oh, did you do another one?
All right, now I have to grab the Rock off the mat, so I have to stand up and pick him up. Hey. So I better put him back down if I'm gonna do that.
Oh, he kicked out after 2
Yeah.
stunners? What a jerk.
Yep. I mean, this is an epic match. It's WrestleMania. It's a pay-per-view event,
Yeah.
so they definitely have to put on a good show.
This might be the one. I thought it was WrestleMania 20 where they fought, but it might have been 19. I was in San Diego and
Wow.
watched
Yeah,
it.
I think this was the last time they fought.
Yeah, they both kick out of each other's finishers a couple times. I do think Stone Cold won, right? I'm guessing if it's his history.
Hopefully so. Maybe we don't want to spoil it. Yeah, we're about to... I might actually... If I wanted to show anything else, I might have to just X out of this. Or do you think this is good enough to show everybody?
This is pretty good. I mean, it's indicative of the game.
Yeah, you have this... There's also a really nice Create a Wrestler stuff. They've improved it compared to last year, because last year's Create a Wrestler, I am told, was missing a lot of features that people expect. This one, you can import images to put tattoos and masks and stuff on your character. A lot of cool things you can do. The bad thing about the Create a Wrestler mode, which I'm not going to show you on stream, is that the loading times are excessive in that mode. Like, if you say you want to edit the guy's face, you're going to put up with a lot of loading. And then say you want to go change his clothes, you got a lot more loading. It just loads. It's like, I don't see why it couldn't hold all of that in RAM. It feels like they didn't optimize it properly.
Oh yeah, he landed the people's elbow finally. All the rest not counting.
Yay, tapped out. Worked out. So, Create a Wrestler, you have to have some patience for it, but the good thing about it, and we showed this last time we streamed the game unofficially, was that you can download everybody else's Creative Wrestlers, and there are so many cool designs. There's wrestlers who are not included in the game, although the roster is huge. It's the biggest roster they've ever had, but there's still wrestlers who they didn't license or whatever. So you can download those guys.
Yeah, the roster's gigantic.
And you can... Superheroes, I've downloaded the Flash. That's who I'm playing the custom career with, or whatever it's called. There's Elsa from Frozen, Deadpool, lots of different superheroes and cartoon characters and stuff. Just a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect. People have been able to do really well. Batman, the Joker. So that aspect can be fun. You have lots of great wrestlers to play as anyway. There was a pre-order bonus of the Terminator, and I'm sure they will start selling him on his own if he's not already for sale on his own. Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea to put the Terminator in the game, but his character is so slow that it's not very fun for me to play as him. I didn't like that. I think I have to lose this part.
Yeah,
I did have to lose.
You've been rock bottomed like 20 times now.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe The Rock wins this match.
Yeah, it looks like it. Sorry to spoil that for you guys. However, this is a real historical thing, so everybody who's into wrestling...
Sorry we spoiled a match from 14 years ago.
And by the way, like, if you don't know much about Stone Cold, he's a fun character because he was a lovable jerk. But I mean, he was really... They show a lot of... He gives everybody the finger, and he does that so often, and it can be very funny. Like, he'll just do it at times when you wouldn't expect it. He likes to drink beer on stage a lot, or pour beer all over himself.
Yeah, he's like the cool redneck kind of guy.
He pulled that off really well, because I didn't know that much about him before I played the game, and I ended up becoming a fan of him as a result.
Video's a little on the jumpy side.
Yeah, it's not like that normally. I think the game is messing up a little bit or something. Sorry about that, you guys.
Okay.
In 2009, Stone Cold's legendary status was cemented as he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Alright, let's just get back to a menu. That stuttery video is no good. So, that's not a common thing, though.
Yeah, it's just a mistake on the H264 video. It sometimes does that if it gets out of sync.
That's a shame. Also, there is obviously online multiplayer and local multiplayer. I played a few online matches, and I felt like the matchmaking wasn't very good. I only got matched up against people who were way better than me. However, it was the afternoon, so I imagine if I played in the evening, it would have been a different story. Because obviously, people get on a lot more in the evening.
Yeah, the afternoon are the people who like play in the afternoons, and so probably play all
I
the
bet.
time.
Also, there's
But
another mode here, WWE Universe mode. This is the, man, I don't know what you'd call it. It's where it simulates the whole season. What would you call that in other sports games?
Simulate mode.
Something like that. I mean,
You mean like where you're like the coach and you just control things, but you don't actually play the
it's
game
kind of,
yourself?
yeah, it's like that. You can just simulate every match. You don't even have to play them if you don't want to. So you can look at a calendar for a whole year and go through the, like on Mondays, that's Monday Night Raw. You can play the Monday Night Raw matches, or you can just simulate them. And if you want, you can skip ahead a couple of months. You can skip ahead to WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, things like that, and just jump into it. If you skip ahead like that, it has to process what the results of all those matches were. It's actually simulating it. And there's some cool things that happen there. Like the wrestlers all have personality traits, and those traits actually change depending on what they do in the match. So for instance, a guy can end up having a heel turn or something. He can become more of a jerk or less of a jerk just based on what he did, what the game simulated he did, or what you actually did when you were playing as him in those individual matches. So it's a vast mode, and actually I was surprised how much I liked it. And a lot of the achievements are tied to it. I was going to say the story mode has a few achievements, but not nearly enough. The showcase mode that we were playing, was a little disappointed it didn't have more achievements. But yeah, if you wanted to get all the achievements, you basically would have to look at a checklist and go do the specific matches it wants you to do a lot of the time. Sometimes it's just like win a match a certain way, but a lot of them it's certain specific matchups and things. Anyway, so we talked about the things I don't like. The loading times in the custom wrestling mode are create a wrestler are way too much, and in some parts of the game, a match might take way too long to load up. The reversal system could be better. Also, it's too hard to climb. When you want to climb out of the ring, it's really dopey the way it does that. There's just a few little elements that should be more intuitive. But once you learn the way you're supposed to play, like the flow of the match and stuff, it can be so much fun. And I don't know, I think mostly they've done a really good job with it. So if you like wrestling but you haven't bought the latest game, or you haven't bought it for a few years, then I think this one would be a good one to jump back in with. Is that okay with you guys?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't have. I haven't played a wrestling game since Nintendo 64.
Yeah, and some people would like a more arcadey wrestling game, and I too would like an arcadey wrestling game. I would like one with these production values, but the gameplay is just simpler and more arcadey. But still, the game they've given us is still fun, and so it's good enough for me. And here's my career mode where I'm playing as my custom wrestler, and you start out in the little leagues, NXT, and you have to work your way up to the big leagues. A lot of fun stuff there.
Cool.
All right, so unfortunately we don't have a lot of time tonight, so we got to call it quits. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for watching this video on YouTube. Thank you, my co-hosts, for all the help, and CMU as well.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and I hope you'll join us in the coming weeks. We have a State of Decay stream in the works, hopefully a Neverwinter stream, and Zombie Army Trilogy, a game I never thought I would get to stream, is actually going to happen, so that's exciting. Yeah.
Cool.
We can't say exactly what order those streams are going to be in yet, because it's a little up in the air, but they should come to pass pretty soon. So those will be in the coming Saturdays for the rest of the year.
Cool.
All right, you guys, don't forget to comment on tonight's article about the game we streamed earlier, and our WWE 2K16 review is coming up. Please read it and comment on it. That is so important to us. Comments really help us out, so always please leave comments on our gaming articles. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, and remember, don't hate, appreciate.
See ya.
See ya.
You didn't